I'm Miss Ori, O-R-I-E, that's how it's spelled. I teach 9th through 12th, 3D animation 1 and 2, and drawing and painting fundamentals.
My name is Mrs. Silkman, Silkman, and I'm a long-term sub.
My name is David Caldwell, D-A-V-I-D, first name, second name, C-A-L-D-W-E-L-L. I am pretty much a school-based floater, so I cover 9 through 12 and anything in between.
My name is DeMarco, D-E-M-A-R-C-O. I'm in 11th grade.
All right, I'm Deshaun Wells. I'm in 12th grade currently, and I'm part of the ADVP Academy.
My name is Maricus Banks, M-A-U-R-I-K-U-S. I'm a sophomore.
Technology has made life significantly better for humanity.
Okay, I'm gonna agree with the prompt. I think that technology has made it significantly better. I think maybe a better term would be easier. A lot of things have been made a lot easier for us, or for us to complete and just do with technology. So overall with the prompt, yes, I do agree. It has made life better.
Me? All right. I mean, when it comes down to a question like that, I do agree in the sense of it's just made a lot of things easier. It's made communications easier. It's made some of the most difficult work possible easier. Has helped us garner so much stuff that can help people medically and etc. And it's really just made so much stuff that that might not even been possible today possible. And I think a world where we don't advance with technology is a world where we don't discover some stuff that just genuinely helps, not even just modern day, but even with some of the most complicated things possible. So I think honestly, I think it's a better world with technology rather than without. I think it's mostly about a measurement of how we use it versus etc. So
I agree on what he said about communication. Also, I feel like technology helps, help you with your time and time management. Like, it don't take as much time and effort to do certain things, such as communication. Like, you could just make a phone call. It's quick, simple, and yeah, that's really it.
So in a way for me, I kind of disagree with it. In some forms, it has made it better, but I feel like it has caused a lot of us to become lazy when it comes to just everyday things. When it comes to spelling, I feel like the generations now, they don't spell as well because all you have to do is autocorrect. A lot of people don't know how to do a simple letter because it's always emails now. So no one sends out letters, but if technology went down, would you be able to write a letter? Would you be able to send, communications that way? Would you understand how to do all those type of things? Simple, if your phone goes down, let's just say they had landlines, would you be able to make a phone call? Are you going to remember those numbers? All that type of things went away when technology came into place because now no one remembers anything. When it comes to research has gone out the window because now you can do everything Google. When in my age group, we had to go to the library, we had to do research, we had to use those type of things to find out information, but now all you have to do is do a cut and paste. People can't write anymore. So I feel that it has taken away the basic fundamentals of life because everyone is crippled by technology.
Since I'm the dinosaur in the group, I have noticed in almost 7 decades of living the migration from a time when I was growing up, where the communication before there were Chromebooks, before there were cell phones, people actually communicated through writing letters. And we talked face to face to one another. And I think the interpersonal relationship was lost somewhere with technology. When I say interpersonal, a lot of times when you see disagreements between individuals, it's because they can't talk. They can't really realize the need to rationalize things. But people just go by what they see on a communicative Twix or whatever, little soundbite or whatever, and it takes away from being able to look at a person in his eyes or her eyes and say, did you really mean what you were saying, what I saw on that? So I think now we've gotten away from that. Because we could quell a lot of stuff. When I was growing up, we could quell a lot of stuff by just going to the person and talking to them. But now people don't even have the patience, the wherewithal to talk about whatever it is that's going on in their lives. And a lot of times, it may not be as serious as technology says it is, but because we react so quickly to things instead of dismantling, then we lose a lot. We lose a lot through that. So I think I would have to go along with the fact that technology may have its pluses, but I think the minuses are something that future generations are going to have to deal with. There was a time, really, when I went to college, we had to write 10-page, 20-page papers. And you didn't go to any computer, no Google or whatever. You had to actually go to the sources, and you had to give those sources credit for what he or she had written. And believe it or not, the professors could fact check you because they had looked at all this stuff. They could say, no, this is what this person said and that person said. But now you can just go ahead, like cut and paste and do all this stuff. So I think, in a way, it has made us a little bit lackadaisical. And I think we're going to lose that cutting edge going forward. Because you got to look at the fact when people are doctors and lawyers and all that stuff, if you don't do the research, how do you know that a thing really works or doesn't work? So it's just going on what somebody posted. So it's a lot. It really is to think about.
Very well said.
To back to what she said, I think it's very good nowadays, but it is also hurting people's brain. Very slow learning, laziness, and phones basically do everything for people now. That's what I gotta say.
All right, so I see a lot here that we're essentially talking a lot how technology is possibly limiting the equity of knowledge that and the willingness for patience, and when it comes to social interactions and stuff, with the introduction of it furthermore into our society over the past coming decades or so. And I just kind of want to hear a little more about that and maybe speak on some points about that, if that's okay.
Sure. For me, as I was speaking to Miss Ori, I've lived out of the country. I lived overseas for 9 years. I have experience with my children every form of school except for a charter school. So I have been a part of Montessori school, private school, international schools, Dodea school, and then American public schools.
That's a lot of knowledge.
And so, I've always been that active parent, so I'm always there. If I didn't work in the school, I was an active parent volunteering in the school. So I kind of got an understanding of how everything operates. And I have noticed that in most of the schools, they are still doing things in the way of they have to research, do all those type of things. They do have classes where they can go and do, get on the computers and do things, but mostly they still doing research the old way. They go to the library, they do the research, they go out, they find research. But not until I came back to the United States did books just go away. There are no books. Everyone has a Chromebook, or the kids in elementary school, they have a Chromebook, but it has to stay in the building. And so now everybody has a phone. Overseas, the kids didn't have phones. Your parents and the teenagers had phones, but little people didn't have phones. So when you start putting a phone in a Chromebook or a computer in everyone's hand, you're taking away people not knowing how to, I personally feel, communicate with one another. Everything is being text. Everyone wants to just, avoid the situation by, was yelling at each other
Through social media.
And then you have those other people that just want to keep egging it on because they want to.
Instigators.
Yeah, the instigators are there to just keep instigating things until those two people, they can put them in a situation where now you got your phone up because you're watching the fight, and then that becomes a conversation.
Yeah.
But you take all of that out everywhere else I've been. I've never seen that really. I mean, I've seen fights, but it wasn't because of what was being said on the phone. It was because they were in each other's face, and it came about. Not saying that's a good thing. All of it is bad. but it's like we don't have any communication skills anymore, and our communication skills is form of anger. It's like so much anger, and I'm like, what are we angry about now? And we're angry because we don't know how to speak. We don't know how to communicate. We don't know how to say, hey, according to what I saw on thing, I think we have beef. Let's talk about it. Do we really have beef? Is it really what John said and it's not really what you said? Is it, I remember when I was a child, we had this game where it was a long line in the classroom, and one person would say one thing, and then you had to turn around and tell the next person. And by the time they got to the end, it had totally changed. Totally changed. And that's exactly what's going on. Everyone wants to put their part into it, and there's just two people that are involved that in the end, they get hurt while everyone else is looking at it or laughing about it. But if I was like, if you would take that same energy and say, here, I need you to write an essay, they couldn't do it. Can't do it. 80% of the kids now can't even write a 20-page essay right now in high school. I remember many days where I was upset because I'm sitting at home and I had to write a 10-page essay. I'm in high school, writing a 10-page essay right here at Phoebus High School. And then, or they say you have to write, it has to be typed, 4 pages typed. So 4 pages typed is about 8 to 10 pages written.
Yeah.
So where has that's gone away? Because technology has basically wiped it out. It's completely wiped it out.
I agree. When I was in high school not too long ago, but my teacher, I feel like she tried to keep some of those like values while we were learning, especially my English teacher, because she would make us handwrite our essays on notebook paper, front and back, and give us the word count and stuff like that. Try to just like limit the amount of technology we were using, especially in English, because reading physical books is like valuable to you. Of course, with like phones and stuff, like you said, even in elementary school, kids have like technology and things like that. I think that is like the biggest part of it, is how kids are growing up now. Like the younger kids in elementary school, they have phones. They're like 5 and 6 years old. They have telephones. They have TikTok. They have Instagram. And for me personally, I don't believe that a child of that age should have any social media.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't think they should have telephones. I didn't get my first phone until I was
in college.
13, 14.
Yeah.
And now these kids, they got newer phones than I have. And I'm like, why? What's the reason? So that's like, I feel like that is like a very strong factor in why people are not able to read, communicate, write, and like develop their own thoughts nowadays.
But technology, when you think about it, and someone mentioned this years ago about driving a car, how a car is a weapon, and if you don't control it, how dangerous it can be if you don't control it. Technology to me is the same way.
Yeah.
It has so much to offer. But if you get to a point where it controls you versus you controlling it, it can just be a monster.
AI.
And what happens is that, like you said, I could have all the intentions to just be a good person, but I'm absorbing this and absorbing that, and before you know it, it's controlling me. And the person that I start off with, I've morphed into something that, man, I don't even recognize him or her no more, because instead of looking at that technology and using it to your advantage, you've allowed, like I tell some students sometimes, don't become a puppet, but the technology is using you. And then when it's using you, it controls you. Like sometimes, I see some students, they can't leave the phone. They can't, as soon as they lay down,
they don't even realize that.
They don't even realize that like they feel like they need it.
It's almost like an addict. I gotta get that phone, I gotta get that. And the thing about it, when you get to that point, you gotta realize this bit of technology has just taken over my life.
Technology is changing human evolution by influencing how our brains develop.
I agree that it is.
These technologies affecting our brains, is what I was hearing?
How the brain develops.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We have all agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
This will be fun.
Same deal, left to right. So starting.
We going full circle.
Okay, I'm gonna say that the reason that I agree with the prompt is because, we were just all talking about it. Kids nowadays, and when I'm saying kids, I mean like younger kids, like elementary school, or elementary age kids are being introduced to technology very early on in their life, not even when they're, when they start their first day in kindergarten. Most young kids, like 1, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, they have tablets. They have all of these like versions of technology that their parents are introducing them to. Not saying that I wasn't introduced to technology when I was a kid, but when I was 2, we didn't really have that many advancements.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some things that were available, but not to the level that there are today. So I think when kids and like even babies are just introduced to things like that so young, that's definitely changing their brains and affecting the way that they learn in school. Like you'll see kids that they know exactly how to work a phone.
Mm-hmm.
They know how to work a phone,
Yeah.
but they cannot talk.
Yes.
And that that speaks for itself.
Yes.
I feel
I've seen that too. You're sitting there and you see little babies in a basket and their parents put a tablet or their phone
To distract them, yeah.
to distract them. And then if they take it away from them, you see the kid, they're falling all out. But you can't walk, you can't talk, you're not potty trained. You can't say your ABCs, but you know how to operate that phone to look at YouTube stuff. And nowadays kids are looking at YouTube stuff. They're not even looking at like little cartoons on YouTube. It's all these what's it called, where they're just doing stuff and telling you about it.
Yeah.
Like streaming and stuff
Streaming,
like that?
they're watching streaming. I'm like, why you two, or why are you watching streaming? Do you even know what they're streaming? Do you know what you're looking at? But they're mesmerized by it. It's almost like you're being mesmerized. It's like a spell. It's like like even now, even with adults, I'm saying all ages, it's like almost a spell. Like you're under this spell and you're just stuck on this phone. Like if you really think about it, how much time do you spend in a book a day, and how much time do you spend on your phone a day? And even if you want to go there, how much time do you look at TV today, or how much time you spend on your phone? The TV has almost become obsolete, unless you're looking at football or anything like that because you want to see it on a big screen. But it has taken over, and then people just can't rationalize or think, because I guarantee you, if we did a poll right now, how many people have their cell phone on them? Just about, if not all of us, over 90% of us have our phones on us.
Yeah.
And if we left it, we were trying to run back to go get it quickly.
Well, the brain is a computer, and you got to realize that if you have negativity going in and programmed into the computer, you're probably going to have negativity coming out. It's not going to be able to mesh it and whatever and change it around. I was listening the other day to a radio, I think it was NPR program. Young lady is 15 years old and she's getting her PhD. And I thought about that. What did she go through? And they were talking about at 4 years old, she was playing the piano and all these other things. I said, her brain is probably no more advanced than anybody else, but what was she introduced to in order for her to be able to achieve like that? So if she's 15 and PhD, and I think she's already started her medical type curriculum. So by the time this young lady gets like 18, she's going to be a doctor, like Dookie Howser. She's going to be somebody like that who's going to be
They don't know Doogie Howser.
But they used to have a TV show years ago about a young guy named Dookie Howser who was like 12 years old and a doctor. But this young lady is going to be able to change a whole lot because of what technology introduces her to. Now, she could use that to just be innovative and create a whole lot of stuff, or she could get, just say if it was in the hands of the wrong person, they could use that stuff to just be destructive to mankind. So with what you get in your brain and how you use it, you got to realize, how am I going to process all of this knowledge, a vast amount of knowledge? We can't even, our brain, it's like I said, it's a computer. You can't take all that. It's just so much out there, man, you just can't even process. Sometimes I think about how people compute, like you're talking about Einstein, all them guys, how they compute this stuff, man. I just barely can add and subtract and stuff like that. But you got people that can do all, think about a surgeon. A surgeon has to go in and just, you have to have all this stuff about anatomy and all that stuff. When a person actually does that and goes in and cuts somebody open, they got to realize, okay, anything can go wrong. How do I connect this vessel? That, do all this stuff to make sure this person doesn't die.
Yeah.
So the brain is like that. It just has so much that it encompasses. So it's a tool that we really need to nurture. And I think a lot of people don't even access a small amount of it.
But not to cut you, but the thing is you said Einstein didn't have any computers. It was all in his brain.
Yeah.
So if Einstein's brain could do that, all of ours could, if we just allow our brains to do it and get out of computers and technology.
And letting some other source control it.
Right.
The development of people's brain has been pushed back, I heard, due to phones getting better and better every year. The kids are for sure not doing as much as they used to do, like going outside, getting the fresh air, instead of staying in their house, getting on their phones and messing up their brain. It's like, it's really affecting people's brain these days. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think, right, like when it comes down to it, I think it's really mostly about, it's a simple quote. It's something that we all know, and it's as simple as this. Too much of a good thing is essentially bad for you, right? And I think that technology by itself as a basis is a great thing that has, again, led to so much developments in humanity. But I think also it even goes back to maybe like the 60s and stuff with the Cold War. One of the biggest worries there was that we were advancing in technology to do great things, but then also even as early as then, even but like in the eras you guys were talking about, y'all were worrying about technology being used to destroy almost everything, And I think it kind of leads into that, except with our health as well right now, and the developing youth. It's a thing of technology is being used as a proxy to distract these younger people, which makes them, and keep them at bay instead of letting them, be the little, like, it's kind of annoying, but still pretty, youthful and energetic toddlers and young children and etc. It's being used as a way to calm them down and make them less of a
Productive citizen, or productive person.
And it, I think that just by itself is a main reason why it's innately harming the development, even scientifically. I think there's a theory that we've regressed back to how 21 is the age where your brain fully develops, or 25 or something like that. I think it's pushed back, and I think that's because people are using this as a way to distract people and keep them at bay and not let them be really free in themselves as when they're young kids, and that becomes almost like you said, an addiction earlier to the technology that we have and a reliance on it that we growing up slowly over time just having trouble really grasping. And I think that definitely shows the regression that we live in an age where, people as young as 15 are addicted to, this, and it almost like they can't, and they just can't really let go of it or do things about it. And I think that definitely shows the degradation of the mind over time. So yeah,
you're right.
I feel like it's both a negative effect and a positive effect, because so for negative, of course, is it's a slower development to the brain, because you don't really got to critical think too much, especially at the fact that you got a phone that you can just look everything up. But then with positive, I would say like we talk about kids and elementary school, and under that, I got a 3-year-old brother, and he watch a lot of TV. He do a lot of things on the phone and stuff, but he watch a lot of educational stuff. And I would say he learned ABCs and 1, 2, 3s just from hearing the songs and hearing it and looking at technology and seeing stuff like that. And he learned real fast. And I would say he 3 years old now, and he probably could count to probably around 25 to 30 and knows all his ABCs. And then also I would say another thing, awareness and stuff like that. Now that it's phones. They could kids, if they at school and something going on, they could call their parents or anything like that. If it's a situation going on and they out somewhere, they can easily access their parents. And it's I feel everything got a positive to it. Mr. Caldwell was saying, if you got too much positive, you could have a positive outcome. Just like if you got too much negative, you can have a negative outcome to it.
Right.
Which I think all of it just leads into, balance, truly.
It is.
Yeah,
but there is no balance anymore.
True.
The balance has gone away.
Yeah, it's being
and
overlaid.
even when it comes to children, you get so caught up in electronics technology that we don't go outside and play anymore, so now you have health problems. You know, kids are overweight, obesity, because they're only sitting in their house and they're on the, if it's not on the phone, then they're playing video games on the on the phone. All that is technology, and it has replaced being a simple child and just doing, you know, going out developing by climbing trees, you know, running around, playing tag, freeze, you know, red light, green light, 1, 2, 3, all those type of things that kept us busy and kept us actually growing as kids.
Yeah.
All right, that's gonna wrap it up for our little discussion about this. I appreciate all of you for being here, and so you guys can converse with yourselves if you want to, and if you got somewhere else to be, then just you know.